Hey, what's going on, everyone? You already know who it is. It's your favorite internet sweaty, your boy, Mikey Savage 21, bringing you another movie discussion. And today we're going to be discussing Avengers Infinity War, and more specifically, will an Avenger die in Avengers Infinity War? Now, as you guys know, the movie is slated to come out next year on May 4th, 2018, and then it eventually will get a sequel later on in 2019 on May 3rd, as it stands right now. So the question of will an Avenger die, and this is actually not the only Avenger discussion that I'm going to be doing. I'm also going to be doing another Avengers discussion, and that's going to drop later on Friday. And again, my review for Spider-Man Homecoming will drop Friday evening sometime. So you guys make sure you stay tuned for that. But I just did a video with Real to Real, and it's up on his channel right now, and I'll make sure I have it annotated in the video above and listed below as well in the playlist. But basically, I had brought up the conversation of saying that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man that he wanted to introduce into the MCU to kill that character off, because it shows that Thanos means business if he kills off a character. So taking that same premise, what if Thanos was to kill off one of the Avengers? Which one would he kill off? Who would have the most weight to it, and why ultimately would he want to do that? Now again, I think Thanos is going to come in here and he's going to strut his stuff. He wants to prove and show his dominance and show them that there is no chance of hope and no chance of breaking him from getting those Infinity Stones and becoming the most powerful being in the universe, or in the galaxy, I should say. So which ones do I think? All right, looking at the list, they have said that we're going to get over 30 plus characters in here, and we're going to be getting all kinds of people. So if I had to look and pick some Avengers to die, I'm actually not going to go with Scarlett Johansson, and I'm not going to go with Jeremy Renner as well. Those would be too easy to kill off. Again, I know that Jeremy Renner, they introduced his family, and that would be sad if they did kill him off, but look, they have to feel this. If they kill somebody off, they at least have to feel this. And I already think that Paul Bettany's character of Vision is going to be one of the ones to go at some point, because he has the gem that Thanos wants inside his head. He has the mind gem. So at some point that gem is going to come into play, and it's going to get taken out of his head. And as far as we know, that gem is what's keeping him alive. Now, if for all we know, they could take the gem out and he might still be Vision. He just might not have his powers anymore. We don't know exactly what they're going to do. But if I had to pick my top two choices of who I really think that they're going to try to kill off, I don't think they're going to try to kill off Hulk. First off, I should say that I don't think they're going to kill off Hulk, and I don't think they're going to kill off Thor, especially since we are getting that Thor-Hulk team up, and they might want to do that later on down the road. I do not think those are going to be two of the main ones to go. And again, we're talking about the Avengers, not necessarily the Guardians of the Galaxy. We're talking about the definitive Avengers, the ones that we saw in both the first Avengers movie and the second Avengers movie, our main core cast. So you might say, well, okay, then there's only two people left. You're right, there is only two people left. I honestly think that Robert Downey Jr. is on the chopping block, and I think that Chris Evans is on the chopping block. Now you might say, why in the world would they want to take out their two biggest stars in this franchise? Why would they want to take out the definitive leaders of both factions, of both the Rogues that Chris Evans leads now and the initial Avengers that Iron Man leads? Why in the world would they want to break that up? Here's why. If Thanos wants to prove who he is and prove that he's the biggest and the baddest and that nobody can stop him, he's going to take out the leaders. Think of this in prison terms. From what I've heard, when you go in prison and you want to assert your dominance, you go in, you find the biggest and baddest dude in there, the one that everyone's afraid of, the one that everyone rallies around, and you take him out and you beat him down. You are now that new head guy, and everybody's going to fear and respect you. Think of this as the same way. If he was to come in and kill Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans' character, or at least one of those two characters, not only is he making his presence known in that cinematic universe, but he is also crippling the team, because nobody else has leader experience, because Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., both respectively of Iron Man and Captain America, have always been the definitive team leaders. They've always been the one to lead the team. They've always been the one giving out the orders. If you take out one of the captains or one of the team leaders, then the team will ultimately fall apart. Now again, in my discussion I did with Real, I said taking out Spider-Man by unite the team. Well, I think the same concept would happen here. If you took out Robert Downey Jr. or you took out Chris Evans, ultimately they're going to be upset and they're going to feel that blow. They're going to go and retreat at some point, I'm betting, and lick their wounds. And then someone will give this great rallying speech, most likely, but it's going to be heartbreaking. And another reason that I think that Thanos would be the one to kill those two is because ultimately this got started with Iron Man, and this should end with Iron Man. If you take Iron Man out, then again, you have taken out the whole big technological aspect to it. And, you know, reports have been coming out this week and Robert Downey Jr. teasing that he might not be coming back. Now, there and again, Disney doesn't necessarily want to kill them off, but if you look at this from a money standpoint, him and Chris Evans are the ones getting top billing for this movie, most likely. So if you cut costs and you want to take him out, that saves you a little extra money that you could use for like touch-ups with CGI or maybe different production budgets here and there that you can shuffle around. And I want everyone to understand this, that I love Iron Man and I love Captain America. They are one of my favorite members of the Avengers, just basically in the MCU in general. Those are my top guys. So I want you to know I'm not being biased on this, but I do think if you take both of those characters out, you're going to leave the Avengers in shambles. Why? Because now the team has to go back, regroup, and lick their wounds. Nobody on that team has the experience with leading except for Samuel L. Jackson's character. And we don't know what he exactly is going to be doing in the film and to what degree is he going to be playing a role, because again, you got 30 plus characters. You want to make sure that everybody gets their respective moments as well. But then not only will killing Robert Downey Jr. be effective to the team, but think of it in terms of Spider-Man. From what we have seen, and I have not seen the movie yet, but from what we have seen, he's building up this father-son relationship and is passing his knowledge on to Peter, basically. If you kill Robert Downey Jr., not only is that going to be a gut punch to us, but that's going to be a major gut punch to Tom Holland Spider-Man, because ultimately Spider-Man looks up to him as this big dad figure, and he already lost his Uncle Ben, and now he would essentially be losing Iron Man as well. And then you might even throw Captain America in there as well, saying that he's losing Captain America. He ultimately sees those two as his significant dad figures, Iron Man more so than Captain America. If you take those two out, it's going to deal a dealing blow to the rest of the Avengers, but you got to think of it in terms of a teenager's mind. How would a teenager be able to process what's going on? He just grasped onto the concept of being a part of the Avengers and fighting. Now you're introducing it into a galactic standpoint, and now he's going out to space to fight this big bad. So you got to think in terms of teenager. He's already flipping his lid and going crazy right now. Then on top of that, to lose his father figure in his life of Iron Man, that would crush him ultimately. And I think if he lost Tony Stark, that would send him on the warpath, and that would make it even more effective in that scene if Iron Man dies. Now there and again, even if you kill off Iron Man and Captain America, do not forget that we do still have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, if he wanted to play with time, could go in time and pull them from another universe, or he could go back in time and stop Thanos ultimately from killing them. And this would just basically give us what we saw at the end of the Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 film, where we saw a what if scenario would have happened if Bella's team would have gone against everybody else. What would have happened? Ultimately, Bella's team would have came out on top, and the bad guys, they saw that and they didn't want that. And again, Thanos does not know about, he knows about the time gem, but he does not know who has it and who is being able to utilize it, basically. So even if they do kill off those characters, you could still bring them back in the next Avengers movie towards the end. But I think it would be really emotional for Avengers Infinity War for it to end with Iron Man and Captain America, or at least one of those two, dying. It would be effective for not only the Watcher, but it would be effective for the team, and especially for Spider-Man, because again, you have to think about it. He just began to bond with Tony Stark, and he sees him again as his dad figure, and he sees Captain America as his uncle figure. These two strong men in his life are pouring into him, and here now we're having them ultimately give their life up for the Earth, and that again will even drive the team even more to bring Thanos down. And even if they don't bring them back and they do stay dead for a significant time, that's still going to weigh heavy on Spider-Man's heart, because again, he has this relationship with them, and it's going to weigh heavy on the team's heart. It's going to weigh heavy on our hearts, and it might even weigh heavy on the Guardians of the Galaxy, because again, they're just going to be meeting Captain America and Iron Man, but for all we know, Star-Lord might know who they are already. Well, I take that back, because by the time he was doing what he was doing now, Iron Man and them hadn't surfaced. So I take that back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not trying to spread misinformation. But it would still be emotionally impactful, because again, Zoe Saldana is going to be looking at what her father has done and the effects of what's going to happen. And I'm not saying there couldn't be more casualties, but I really think that in Avengers Infinity War, we are going to see the definitive death of Iron Man or Captain America, or Iron Man and Captain America. One of those two is going to bite the dust, if not both of those. Why? Because you have now come in and asserted your dominance. If you're thinking of Thanos, you've come in and you've taken out the strongest ones, and the ones who rally the team, you have taken out the leaders now. So you are definitively showing them that I mean business. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to complete this Infinity Gauntlet and rule the galaxy for whatever reason he has. It's also emotionally impactful for the team. And again, this is going to be emotionally impactful for Spider-Man as well, because again, you have to think like the mind of a teenager. If you were to lose your mom, your dad, anybody right now close to you, that would break your heart, and it would ultimately send you over the edge. Well, some of you it would send over the edge, because some of us do not know how to cope with our emotions that well. And you have to think, Tom Holland's character of Spider-Man already has all this going on. He has all the weight on his shoulder of protecting his home, of protecting his Aunt May, his friends, his school. Now he's being introduced to this cosmic threat and has to go out into space. We don't know to what degree the Venom is going to come into play, so that's going to put some psychological strain on his mind as well. He has all of these things rushing through his teenage mind. How is he going to be able to handle that? And again, you go in, you essentially disrupt the team, and you can ultimately do it from the inside out, but it would be better and more effective for Thanos to just come down, do something to kill those two off in some degree. Do not have his grunts do it. Do not have his minions do it. He needs to be the one to do it. He needs to be the one to show them that I mean business. So guys, what do you think about this? Do you think any of the Avengers will die in Avengers Infinity War? Do you agree with me of saying that Iron Man or Captain America needs to go? Do you think they will go? And if they do go, do you think they will bring them back in some form or capacity into this MCU? Let me know what you think about these topics down below in the comment section. As always, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Again, make sure you go check out all the videos that I have annotated above and at the end of the video. And if you like this video and you like the content that you've been checking out lately, why not go ahead and subscribe to the channel? And once you do subscribe, make sure you tap that little bell next to the subscribe button so you will be notified every time that I drop a video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and as I always say, remember to become a savage, stay a savage, and peace out, y'all.